Hello all, Mr. Phobes here. I'm going to try and do three short mini lessons on how to do a couple of things. One is to create a new uh, project in Photoshop, how to do the project completely in Photoshop. So this is an example of one that would be a geometric asymmetrical expansion. You could certainly apply this to the symmetrical. Um, The other one is I'm going to show you how to do something that's organic, again, using just Photoshop tools. And then the last one, I'm going to show you how to modify an existing project. So this is one by Addy, and it's really good. I was seeing if I could maybe create a little bit more emphasis by scaling up this area and scaling down some of the other ones. So what I did was I modified it like that. I don't know if it's better, but you get the idea of how I change the scale. So I'm going to show you how to do that too. So you can modify your existing one. Okay, so let's do a geometric one. So I'm going to create a new file. So I'm going to go File, New. And because I'd already been doing this, I basically have a template set up, but I'm going to set it at 12 by 18 inches at 300 pixels per inch. So all this is set just by modifying these, and then make sure you're in inches and not pixels. Um, we'll change these when we get to the end. We want to be in RGB color mode to start to edit it. We're going to do a background content of white, and then I'm going to go create. Okay, so there's our uh, portrait. So the first thing we want to do is now we want to create the square. So we're going to go to the little shape tool here, and when you click on this, make sure that up here it says shape and not path. Make sure it says shape, and then you want the fill and select black, okay? And then where it says stroke, make sure that this is, see if you have this selected, you're going to end up with a stroke around it. So make sure that it says undo color, so there's no stroke. Don't worry about this. This is not going to affect us. Okay, so we're going to create a shape, and we're going to create it in the exact size we want. So I'm going to make sure I'm on here. I got the little plus sign. I'm going to click it, and this dialog comes up, and I'm going to type in 5IN, and then the height is going to be, oops, I'm about ready to put, yeah, that's right. And then the height is going to be 7.5 IN. And then you're going to go, okay. Oh, see, I did something wrong because I didn't have them agreeing. So that needs to be IN, and then I'm going to go, okay, there it is. And you can see down here, it created another layer. So make sure as you're working that you have the layers open. You don't really need the colors open. Um, and make sure the tools are set and the application frame is set. And then also have the options set, because if you don't, see what will happen is then that little dialog disappears up here. So we need that. So go Window, make sure options are set. Okay. So now what I need to do, so I've got two different layers here. I'm going to move this, kind of around so I can work with it. The other thing I need to do is I need to go to Layer, and I need to do something called Rasterize. So I'm going to go Rasterize Shape. If I don't do that, I won't be able to do any of the editing. All right. So I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. The other thing let's do is we're going to go to View, and we're going to go Show Grid. Okay. So the grid, the default on my computers, it's every inch, and it's divided by 4. If you don't have that, go to Photoshop Preferences and go to um, Guides and Grids and Slices. And when you go to Grid, um, set it for grid line every 1 inch, subdivisions by 4. You can make the grid color anything you want. I'm going to do black. Okay, so now the other thing we're going to do is we're going to go View, and we're going to go Snap to Grid. Okay, so that means as I move this around, it wants, see that? It wants to snap to this. This is going to make it a lot easier as we make these cuts, okay? So I'm not going to develop the whole project. Again, if we look at it, there's what it looks like. I'm going to show you how to do the circles, and I'm going to show you how this works. Okay, so I'm going to go back. All right, so to do a circle, I'm going to go to this little tool. So this is one of the selection tools. It's called the elliptical marquee tool. So I'm going to click on it. I'm going to go right up to the corner, and I'm going to do two things. I'm going to select the Shift key and the Option key. If you're on a PC, it would be the Alt key. What that's going to do is it's going to keep the circle consistent, but it's going to guarantee that it comes right off that corner. See how it's snapping to the 1/4 inch? If I didn't want to do that, I would take the snap off, but I kind of want to do that. So I'm going to bring this all the way out to here. So now it's selected this, and I'm on the rectangle layer, and then I'm going to go Layer, New, Via Cut. All right. And what it's done, you see it creates another layer, and I'm on this layer. Now what I want to do is I want to flip this. So I'm going to go Edit, Transform, and I'm going to go Flip Horizontal. All right, so it does that. Now I have to go to the Move tool. I'm going to move it out. What's nice is because I've got it snapped to grid, see that? Boom, it snaps right to that edge there, okay? Now, the whole thing is offset a little bit. If I want to move the whole thing, what I should do is select, I'm going to hold the Shift key, and I'm going to select both these layers right here. And notice I've got the background layer locked. I'm going to leave that just like it is. But I'm going to take these two, and I'm going to go Layer, and then I'm going to go Merge Layers. So they're only merging the layers I've selected, okay? So that's going to allow me now to move this around a little bit, okay? So now I can go with my next step. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut another circle out of here, okay? So I'm going to go back. I'm going to hit Shift, Option. Oops, Shift, Option. There we go. I'm going to snap it right to there, and then I'm going to go Layer, New, Via Cut. There you can see it's on that layer, and then I'm going to go Edit, Transform, Flip Vertically, come to the Move tool. I'm going to move it up. There it is, it snaps to that. Okay, now I'm going to do that little zigzag thing, and what's kind of cool about it is that it's going to snap to the grid below, all right? So what I want to do, because I'm going to cut on this, I have to make sure that I'm on that layer. If I'm on this layer, it's not going to work. Okay, now I'm going to do a little and there's different ways of doing this, but I'm going to do a little geometric cutting based on the grid here. So I'm going to go up to the lasso tool and let's say start down here, and I'm just going to hold. I'm going to kind of let the tool follow the grid. It's actually snapping to the grid below. So I'm going to do something like this. And then I've got to make sure I go around the rectangle here. Okay, now the whole thing is selected. I'm going to go Layer, New, Via Cut, and then I'm going to flip it down. I'm going to go Edit, Transform. I'm going to go Flip Vertical. And so now I go to the Move tool. I'm going to move it down. Okay, so it's right there. Okay, so I'm looking at this. That's not bad. So I'm going to minimize out. So this really breaks up the square. It's only a few cuts, but you kind of get it. So that's that using the snap to grid and creating this sort of geometric form using different selection tools. Okay, so we'll move on to the next one. It'll be in a new mini lesson on organic shape.